Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo is a fantastic combination of Metroidvania, platforming, and a whole lot of yo-yoing, equaling a phenomenal game and well worth your time for any fans of modern retro design. Our story is that we are trying to get the soul of our /richest person in the city back from 4 evil industrialists who are going to be using it for even more nefarious schemes and the evils of capitalism. And for our part in this, we are going to have to do some classic Zelda-style action-adventuring around. Our structure, again, just said, is that of the older Zelda games. You have your overworld full of a variety of bonus areas, side quests, MacGuffins, and more to collect, and the goal being to reach the 4 quote-unquote dungeons. In each, you will get a new power, fight a boss, and move one step closer to finishing the game. Look at Pipistrello is right at home in the Game Boy Advance era of 2D platforming, with some really great design and a lot of variety of enemies and characters. Now the gameplay here is quite original. From the screenshots and the footage shown so far, you would think that this just plays like your standard Zelda-like, with most of the movement being grounded with maybe a jump here or there. But Pipistrello does a lot in terms of 2D platforming, and it does get quite advanced as you get further in. Your different yo-yo techniques that you'll pick up can be used to extend your jump, wall jump, even kind of like wall run around, as well as a water run ability as well. And many of the advanced challenges will require you to combine all your tech in very different ways in order to get from point A to point B, along with bonus challenges that will require specific tech that you can come back to and try later on. The variety of rewards come in the form of new badges, which are your passive artifacts, as well as money. And Pipistrello features a very interesting reward system that goes with your upgrades. Once you unlock it, which occurs very quickly, you'll be able to take on contracts and provide you with a permanent boost. The downside, while the contract is active, you will also have a negative that goes with it. Reduce health, reduce damage, and many more. From that point on, while you have the contract equipped, half of any money earned will go towards paying off the bill. Once it's paid off, you turn it in and the upgrade is yours without the downside to it. And you'll get access to a lot of different features, such as being able to equip more badges, extend your damage and vulnerability windows, and more. There's a really great mix of customization in Pipistrello on top of the platforming. Combat here, I would say, is okay for the most part. At the start, you are going to be fairly weak in terms of damage, and this won't be helped if you start taking on the contracts that further reduce your damage along the way. But if you go for these contracts enough, and especially get enough badges upgraded, you kind of start ripping and tearing with your yo-yo. And some of the kind of special moves you get can be really great at screen clearing and just keeping the enemies at bay. Now, if you're wondering if it gets like super advanced, it doesn't. If you've played any, again, of the top-down style Zelda games, you should be more than acquainted with the combat and keeping screen distance or keeping yourself away from the different enemies. What I really like about this game is that while it does, again, go back or harken back to the days of the Game Boy Advance era, there's a lot of modern design here, and even more beyond in terms of the action-adventure genre. I am not kidding when I say that the platforming in this game gets incredibly advanced, and even like the game's like ultimate platforming section even caused my fingers to be a little bit twisty at times. And the different rewards do a great job of incentivizing you to go all around the city, return to go all around the city with new upgrades, and invest in all the different contract rewards. If I had any issue with the game, there were some cases where it felt a little awkward to fight enemies. This is a classic 2D game, so touching an enemy counts as being hit by them. And there's plenty of times where an enemy can just like run at you and they come right at that perfect angle, you just can't hit them, since your normal yo-yo only attacks in the cardinal directions. It's also why I went with the kind of like AoE swing as my special move to kind of nip those attacks in the bud. A platforming issue is that the game makes use of a tile system for how all the floors are defined. And that means that everything is kind of set up that you can jump X amount of tiles, you can push X amount of tiles, etc. But your character and kind of your movement and the physics around it kind of break those rules slightly. So what kept happening to me is that I'll go to make a jump and I'll mistime it just by a hair, and my character will kind of be like in between two tiles, and either the attack won't connect, I won't be in the right range to make the wall bounce, and it happened more often than I would have liked. And it can be a bit frustrating in areas where there's a lot of pits. One of the badges you can equip will nullify the first instance of fall damage. You can also make it 2 instances if you upgrade that badge, which does mitigate things, but it did lead to a few more annoying sections and deaths that I would have cared to have seen. The bosses are all very well done. While it can be a little bit health spongy at the start, get enough of those damage upgrades and you will just melt through their health bars. And the game does a great job of checkpointing as well. You will checkpoint in every room, and if you die, you can either retry the room or be sent back to the save room. And I think this is also done as an anti-soft lock measure, as I did run into a few cases where I was not sure if I was either missing the tech or did I accidentally soft lock myself in a few sections, but those are very few and far between. If you're a fan of modern retro design, especially 2D platformers, this is an easy recommendation and is a phenomenal take on this design, and as well as really elevating what we can do in the 2D space. Normally when we talk about hardcore 2D platforming, we focus more on the side-scrollers, your Meat Boys, Celeste, and so on. But having this more top-down game feature very interesting and very varieties of jumping and jumping-based obstacles is a very rare treat indeed. So with that, Pipistrello was played with a press key provided by a developer. That is a lot of P's right there. Let me take your game for a future stream and review. Does not involve yo-yoing, platforms, or anything else. Please get in touch. If you did play this one, let me know what you thought about it down below. And with that, thanks for watching. I will see everyone for our next review. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to do the YouTubing stuff people tell you to do. If you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my books wherever they are sold. Visit our Discord and Patreon, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games.